Hey champion, it's Stuart Stone here from Health and Fitness Over 40, and today we've got another super quick, super healthy, super fun meal to make in the kitchen. And this one was taught to me by my Russian friends. So привет to all my Russian friends out there. This one's grechka, or buckwheat if you're English. And if this recipe differs slightly from yours, hey, just go with it, share it with your friends. But for everyone else out there, let's give you a quick rundown of the ingredients. So we're going to be using buckwheat. We're going to be using minced garlic, we're going to be using salt, pepper, paprika, or some cayenne pepper if you want to spice it up a little bit, or the traditional stuff here is adjika. Now, a couple of veggie stock cubes, we've got grated carrot obviously, and then we've got mushrooms and onions, so 2 diced onions, and I just used a small tub of mushrooms, and we're going to get started on this. So while I finish grating up the carrot here, I'm going to introduce you to one of my little Australian friends.
There you go. You all good? Yeah. We'll get you some more? Yeah, I know. It's okay. There you go. Okay, Patty.
So like all the recipes in this playlist, we're going 100% plant-based. In other words, cruelty-free, works for me, should work for you too. Now let's get back into it. Okay, so we've started this off by pouring the cup of buckwheat in the saucepan there. We've got boiling water in there, and like we said, tip for young players, boil the water first, pour it in there, saves the thing having to heat up on the hot plate, saves you time cooking, winning. So that's the starting point. This is going to takes about as long as rice takes to cook, so it could be anywhere from about 10 to 15 minutes like that. Pour enough water that's going to cover the buckwheat up, and you're just going to have sufficient water that the buckwheat will absorb it as it cooks. So that's the starting point. We're going to leave that for about 5-10 minutes now, and then we're going to start the second part of the meal. That's the fun part, and that's the part that just adds all the flavour. Okay, so a fast game's a good game. So diced onion in there. Let's get that sizzling happening. And then the mushrooms. So we're going to let them cook a bit first. Just stir them in, get things working and moving. Like I said, fast game's a good game. I might give that a little bit more heat. Throw some garlic in there. Just load that up, seeing we're looking after our immunity at the moment, especially with all this media hype around coronavirus. Paprika, so it's a fairly sweet spice. I've probably gone a little bit heavy-handed there, but hey, doesn't matter. Bit of pepper. And some Himalayan salt, and then stir that in there. Now the other thing that I'm going to add, and you can add this when you put the water in to boil the buckwheat, or you can do it a bit here, and this is probably because I forgot, a little bit of crushed up stock cube, vegetable stock cube, because we're going animal free, cruelty free. Bit of oil. Let's get that baby cooking away. And already I can smell the spices. So if I was doing this traditionally, I'd be using adjika, which comes from Abkhazia. So down sort of, when you look at the right-hand corner of the Black Sea, or sorry, northeast corner of the Black Sea, you sort of go inland, that's Abkhazia there, and Georgia and those sort of areas, that's where these beautiful spices come from. So this is one of the great things when you're Russian, you've got such a great landmass that, yeah, everyone thinks of Russia as being cold, snowy, dark, all that sort of thing, but you've got to realise that the whole place extends down to the top of the Black Sea. So, huge country. In other words, lots of variation on flora, fauna, and access to all sorts of foods. So, just because the EU decided to blacklist Russia going back about 4 or 5 years now, so they couldn't get hold of wines and cheeses, guess what? The Georgian wines and cheeses are absolutely wonderful. So you know what, Russia's not missing out at all. In fact, you probably did their former Soviet republics a favour by annexing them from the EU, because those economies have taken off as Russia has invested in all of their more local produce instead of buying cheese and wine and other extras from places like France and Italy. So there you go. Anyway, we're going to let that stir in there a little bit and cook a bit, then we're going to add the carrot, then the buckwheat, and then we're going to give this a try. So we'll see you in another couple of minutes. Okay, so that's not even all been cooking for 10 minutes, and when we look at the buckwheat, it's pretty much good to go, so we'll show you that in a second. Time for the carrot. That's about 3 medium carrots that I've grated up there. And in she goes. Stir that in there, and I tell you what, the flavours are starting to smell amazing. And like I said, if you like things a little bit spicy, you can add some little bit of cayenne pepper. When you look at how ajika is made, it's sweet peppers, hot peppers and other spices. So it has such an amazing aroma and flavour. And if you can't get hold of ajika, then you're going to end up having to sort of substitute the flavours a bit, or just do it to taste. But we'll stir that in there, and then time for the piece de resistance. Now, as we can see, that buckwheat has steamed up beautifully. There's no real moisture left, so we're going to pour that in there. And when you look at that, you see that that was 1 cup of grain to start off with, and it's multiplied to about 3.5, 4 times its size. So in other words, this is a heck of a lot of food. So it's going to keep me and mine going for a couple of days as evening meals, or when we're on the job in the next few days, we're going to be munching away at that at lunchtime. So all you need to do now is just stir that all in. If it looks or seems a little bit dry to you, all you've got to do is just throw a bit of olive oil in there. But I think this is going to be pretty amazing. So look at that. We're probably looking at 15 to 18 minutes start to finish so far. I'm going to stir this up for about another minute or two, and then we're done. In fact, I'm going to throw a little bit of oil in there. I don't like to cook my carrot for too long because I like it to have still a little bit of crispiness. But there we go. Fanny's your aunt, Bob's your uncle. That's looking amazing. I'm going to give that a couple of minutes, then we'll plate it up, show it to you, and then I'm going to go and enjoy my dinner. That is absolutely lush. And the great thing about greshka, the reason you make so much when you get started, is because as the flavour goes into it, it gets even better overnight. So tomorrow when I take that out of the fridge, it's going to be absolutely amazing. So that's it from me to you today. Make sure that you keep your veggie scraps, throw them in the garden, throw them in your compost, keep the worms happy, keep the soil happy so that you can grow some great quality veggies. I did the washing up while I was plating that up and just letting it cook one last minute or two. I'm going to go and enjoy my evening and enjoy my greshka. You enjoy your evening, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and remember this meal was animal free, so cruelty free, works for me, works for you. Get more fresh fruit and veggies in your diet and more spices like garlic and everything like that while this corona scare is on. Protect your own immunity, look after your body, lower your inflammation levels, and I'll talk to you again very soon.